In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Zam Wesell for the Saga line back in 2002. So I recently brought her back into my collection again. Originally, I got her in 2003, I think it was, and it was at Toys R Us. I distinctively recall the night I got her. I know it was already after sundown, and I think it was just before Toys R Us was closing. It may have been like 8 or 9 p.m., something like that. And I ended up walking out of the store and just distinctively recall being extremely happy to add Zam to my collection. She's always been one of my favorite characters from Attack of Clones. Too bad she was not utilized a lot more than she was. Basically, the only scenes we ever got her in were Attack of Clones and then in the video game Bounty Hunter, which definitely fleshed out her story a lot more and much more character development for her in Bounty Hunter than Attack of Clones. But since then, she really hasn't been revisited, which is unfortunate to me. Very interesting bounty hunter, and I would be wanting to see a lot more of her. So like I said, got this action figure in 2003. She was in my collection for a number of years. I forget exactly when I ended up losing her in my collection. I forget if I sold her or if she was accidentally given away or thrown out or something like that. But I probably had her for a solid 7 to 10 years before I ended up parting ways with her originally. And then, as I said, within the last few months, I ended up reacquiring her yet again, and I'm glad I did. I do have the TVC Zam reviewed on the channel. I would recommend checking that out. Of course, this is the definitive Zam we've gotten from Hasbro in 3 3/4 inch, but this one still has a lot of merit to it as well. It does have its own charm and some interesting features about it that the TVC action figure does not have. But we'll talk more about that here in a minute. First, we'll look at her package. It's in the traditional Saga package. A nice image of Zam there doing the kissing pose, basically, puckering out her lips. I forget exactly the actress's name who plays as her, but I do think she's Australian. Face reveal mask, as you could you can see at the edge there. Attack of Clones, Zam Wesell, Bounty Hunter, and some features about her. Of course, we know that Zam is a Clawdite, not a human. A little description about her: Zam Wesell is the dangerous, heavily armed bounty hunter mysteriously hired to eliminate Senator Amidala. Swift to action, Wesell is a refined, unrelenting assassin and an excellent tracker. Her query's almost non-existent survival rate confirms Wesell's eminent reputation and unsurpassed marksmanship. Wesell gets more than she bargained for when her assassination attempt is foiled by the Senator's Jedi protectors, who pursue the bounty hunter on a harrowing chase through the Coruscant skyline. And some of the other action figures featured. One of the first clones we ever got. Wouldn't mind having that action figure. I do recall seeing that back in the stores, or in stores back in the day. Very nice package. Nice image of Zam there. Do like that'd be an interesting poster, wouldn't it? Let's just take a closer look at her. So I think that head sculpt is pretty good. She does not have the removable helmet like the TVC figure does. But despite that, Hasbro did do some nice detailing around her eyes there. Very neutral expression. And I kind of like how her helmet casts a shadow over her eyes a little bit. If you hold her a certain way, you could kind of give her that outlaw look. And instead of having the veil that can go across her face, it's just draped over the side here, which I tried to simulate with this figure here. Her stance is kind of awkward, especially her legs there. That could be attributed to being in the package for many years. But I distinctively recall even my original figure from 2003 that I thought she had an awkward stance then as well. It's almost like she's bow-legged. But they did a nice job with all of her armor. Looks pretty good. She has the plastic common back here, which does have a little bit of a wave to it. She does have an action feature. So basically what you do is, it's probably one of the more subtle ones. At least it's not like this huge peg sticking out of her back. But you have her arm down like this, and I think she's supposed to go in a drawing pose. Let's see here. Yeah, something like this. Not a bad one. I think it's kind of neat. Sometimes it doesn't want to work on you. Yeah. In terms of her articulation, she does have a swivel at the neck, a hinge at this shoulder, but this one, because of the action features, it's just all swivels mostly. But she does have a swivel forearm. I'll talk about this arm here in a second. Swivel waist, then swivel hips, then hinge knees, and nothing in the ankles. So the deal with this arm is, of course, we know exactly what happens to Zam in the film. She ends up getting her arm cut off, and you can simulate that right here. Unfortunately, the magnet seems kind of deteriorated on mine. As you can see, it has a lot of those shavings, and I think that's mostly coming from the inside there. I tried wiping it off as best I could. Wasn't very successful. It's very hard to get metal to actually detach from the magnet there. But at the same time, I'm thinking, well, if the magnet is deteriorating like that, I don't really want to take off any more than necessary. And for now, it seems to work. And it's not really messy. So perhaps I'll just leave that. But that's really unfortunate. It's only a 20-year-old action figure, and for it to be deteriorating like that. Perhaps I could get a new magnet at some point, but we'll see. But anyways, that is an option for you. Simulate her getting her arm cut off. In terms of weapons and accessories, she does have her blaster here. Pretty basic, just with some black and silver paint on it. And you can put it securely in her holster there. And then the Clawdite mask, which you think would work a lot better, but unfortunately it's a little big for her. At least the sample I have is. But as you can see, you wrap it around her neck there. I'll try to do the best I can, but I haven't been too successful at it so far. But yeah, it's just... yeah, that's... have to admit, that's kind of about the best I could get for now. Perhaps I'll work with it and show it off in another video at some point. But just kind of give you an idea of what you can do. Even back in the day, I wasn't too successful getting the mask on. I think it's just a little bit too large for her. It looks like it would be a fit, but unfortunately it's not really. And obviously you can see the huge difference between two action figures, about 9 years of a difference. But still, I like this Saga figure quite a bit. It's very nice. But I think that's pretty much all I can tell you about the Saga Zam Wesell. Would I recommend her for your collection? I would, if you're a big fan of character. I think she's a great one to have. There is another Zam out there that was the sneak preview version, which she does have the veil on. Perhaps I'll track that figure down at some point, but it's probably not going to be anytime soon. But you never know. We'll see. If I find a good deal for one, I'll go ahead and get her. But as far as price is concerned, I only paid like $5 or $6 for this brand new, so very easy to get hold of, pretty accessible. So if you really want this Zam for your collection, it's definitely pretty easy to get hold of. And I'm glad to have her reunited with my collection after all these years. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There'll always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support. And check out some links in the description if you haven't done so already. And as always, thanks for watching.